shake your head all you want. I got really excited there for a minute.
No, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, let me run through this real quick.
Yeah.
Friends of the show.
You mean run through it
out.
so you can pour drinks?
Nope. CQ, the Pop Culture Warrior, and Two Brothers Podcast with Troy and Trevor. They're back at it again. Trevor Jackson and Dim Jackson Boys had their first show of the new year last night. And then check out Dumbass Dudes Podcast and Happened in the 90s Podcast. And the Andy Harris on Twitter. Go to the website up at the top where it says merch. We got merch
now. Yeah.
And then also a place where you can tell us what you really think about us. So
completely anonymously.
Tonight, courtesy of my brother.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this.
Small Batch 1792 Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's an odd 46.85%.
Okay.
Or 93.7 proof.
Yeah, well, it is small batch.
Right. So
I'm pretty excited. We haven't had a good bourbon in a while. So. Oh, yeah. Dude.
And tonight we have a guest with us.
Guest, yeah.
On another show.
Yep.
You want to bring him on now? You want to cheers first? I don't know if he's drinking or not.
I think he got himself a beer, so we'll
nice.
bring him on. I didn't know. You know, never know what you want to do since you're the boss here. Evidently.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we got Cam on, man. We're talking to the Driveway Podcast. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Good.
Doing well.
So
where are you out of? I didn't think to double check.
Yeah. So out of Delaware. So there's 3 counties in Delaware: Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex. And I'm in the southernmost in Sussex County. Most people, if they know anything about Delaware, they know the capital being Dover, and that's NASCAR. But then if they know anything about southern Delaware, that's the beaches. Well, that's the eastern side of the county. They've got the surf and the sand and the money. Over on our side, we've got the chickens and the farms.
Nice.
All right.
Because that's actually officially is the most I know about Delaware.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. I've doubled my knowledge.
Oh, well,
because if you'd have asked me
yeah.
before the show, what do you know about Delaware? I'm like, well, it's up there and it's a state.
It's not the smallest state, but it's by far not the biggest.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, it's New England-ish.
Actually, I think he's the first person I've ever spoken with that's from Delaware. I've never met a Delawarean.
Okay, now let's not go too far here. I'm a transplant.
That's what I was gonna say. Are you actually from Delaware? Because I don't think anyone is from Delaware. I think people just migrate there.
This is very true. No, I'm originally from Western PA, hence the Steelers logo behind me. Born and raised there. Came to Delaware back. It's hard to believe this now in 2001 for a teaching job. Planned on coming here for a couple years, get experience, and head back home. And 21 years later, here I am.
Nice. I don't think I've ever, other than here, have I moved anywhere for a job? I mean, military doesn't count.
Military doesn't count. Moved anywhere for a job? No.
Other than
not
here.
that I can think of. No.
Other than here,
no. You've got a touch of the PA accent. I'm sorry, I heard my dogs just start going crazy like somebody's trying to break in the house. But anyway, you got a touch of that accent, but you got a touch of Baltimore in there. It sounds like so.
Bite your tongue, man.
Well, I'm just saying, as soon as you start talking, I was like, I hear it, but I hear
usually
a little bit of that Baltimore.
Yeah,
from the get-go.
Jesus.
It is what it is.
Everybody says I have a Western PA twang, and it catches up with me once in a while. Well, I'm trying to think what it was. So for the school district that I work for, I do some of the all calls that go out to the district or canceling something or something to promote or whatever. And every once in a while, when it does from the voice to the words, it'll pick up something like crazy. I think I said our football stadium is Bob Dowd Stadium, and it came up Baghdad Stadium. And I guess just the way that I say it is what it thought it was. And so every once in a while we have some crazy stuff like that happen.
So what are you drinking tonight?
I have a Presidente.
Okay.
So my wife is Dominican, and that is the official, I won't even say beer of the Dominican, is the official beverage of the Dominican Republic. So we always tend to have some in the fridge, and I've really learned to like it over time. It's a little bit heavier of a beer, but it's not a dark, so I enjoy it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thanks for being on, man.
Cheers anyway.
Salud.
All right. How you like it?
I like it.
Good. I'm glad. Okay. So yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was more prepared for this than you were tonight.
Are you?
No.
I've got. I have got. I've got a couple of things. I was listening while I was cooking dinner tonight to their most recent episode. Right.
Which, by the way, let me go ahead and applaud you guys before you get into that on having a goddamn nice sounding podcast.
Oh yeah,
because we've had some people on that are great dudes, and I'm not insulting them at all, but they're like, it hurts me how bad audio is sometimes. And I granted that everybody has different setups, everybody has different experience, but when I hear a show that like, oh, that sounds really nice, and I don't want to kick myself in the dick, it's much appreciated. So first, I want to get that out of the way first, man. Good job.
Especially for you guys, for everyone to be remote, it does sounds
fantastic.
Sound good. I mean, you can, it does. It sounds good. But go ahead.
I'll pass. Thank you. I'll pass that along because that's probably about the most professional comment or compliment we've ever gotten. And so, if you listen to the one that went up today, there was some really rough points. The one guy, Captain Caveman,
that's the one I was listening to. Yes,
was having some difficulty with his audio to the point where I'm texting him like, "Would you turn your damn video off and see if this gets better?" And it didn't. And then he felt he was in a timeout or something.
Yeah, well, you could clearly hear that his issue is not your audio. His issue was his internet. And so it was choppy, but aside from a choppy internet, everything sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, so
we're both like, not that we've done it professionally by any means, but we both went to school.
You bite your tongue. I've been in multiple churches and done it professionally.
But we both went to school for audio production and engineering and stuff. So it's like, it's much appreciated when we hear somebody that
I got paid in jewels of my crown.
My sound experience is pretty much my aunt and uncle ran a DJ service back in Pennsylvania. And so all through high school and college, I was doing school dances, then graduated to proms and weddings, so on and so forth. And then when I moved to Delaware, I thought that was behind me. My first year, I'm telling the students about myself. One of the kids in my class, is dad had a DJ service. He gives me a call. I said, "Look, man, I'm barely keeping my head above water. I was getting married that next summer. I said, give me a call at the start of next school year." Never thinking I'd hear from him again. I was teaching 8th grade, middle school, daughter's gone. I'll be damned if that son of a bitch didn't call me and get me roped in. And it was great. I mean, it was some nice extra money, and I really got to see a whole lot of Maryland and Delaware. Delaware, you can get pretty much anywhere you want in a pretty short amount of time. But it was pretty good, and then it just became too much. And if something had to go, it ended up being that.
Yeah.
So what was your DJ name?
It was just Cam. There was nothing special about it.
Whatever.
He might have gone full Skrillex. I don't know.
Right.
Or not Skrillex. What the fuck? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I tried for a reference and just completely hurt. It was bad.
Yeah.
So you are one of a handful of dudes that do your podcast. You're the only one that was able to get here tonight. A few of the guys are at a football game, and the other guys just don't care enough to do it. But
that's very true.
So when Dallas beats the Eagles, when the Eagles lose tonight, because they're playing Dallas, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when they lose to Dallas, aren't they going to wish that they had been here? just saw it at the end.
Well, they said a couple
that Jalen Hurts isn't playing.
Yeah, well, I was telling Steven before you guys got on that, before we got live and everything talking, I said I'm sure they were real excited when they saw the inactives and Jalen Hurts wasn't playing. But they sent me a couple pictures. They're having a good time, so I'm not sure they're going to remember too much of the game, which might work out well for them anyway.
Oh, you should just text them, tell them to call in, let us know how it's going.
Settle down, Trevor. Settle down.
Trevor, fly, Eagles fly. All right.
I'm just saying, if this turns into fucking sports talk, I'm just gonna go outside and smoke while you guys.
It wouldn't be the first time you walked off the show.
I was drunk as shit that time.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It was like I'd already done 2.5 hours at that point.
Blame it on drinking, but you also got something happened to you and you walked out of a Spider-Man movie. So whatever. So you have a history of walking out of
fun
things.
of my mental health issues.
2 marriaes, Spider-Man, the podcast. You just walk out on things. Your kids. You just walk out on shit all the time. Oh God.
Panic attacks and lack of a conscience, man. Those two things go a long way.
Oh God. So in your most recent episode, I was listening and you guys had a segment that I really liked and wish that I had a podcast partner that I could have that kind of segment with. But it was rules that you'd like to change or add or whatever to sports. And you guys had some really good, and I can't remember if it was you or someone else, but and I'm not a big soccer fan. I like US women's soccer, but that's about it. But the whole overtime rule of play your extra time, your injury time or whatever, but don't go into don't play the 15 or 30 minutes, whatever. Just go straight to the shootout or whatever. Like that's what everybody wants to see anyway. Was that you or is that someone else?
No, that was actually Captain Caveman, who came up with that. And we all give him a hard time because we were several episodes ago. We were talking somewhere about the Olympics. This probably gonna be 2 or 3 months ago. And he makes the comment, I was real big into soccer then, and then just like kind of tried to like graze right by it after he said it. So he gets done with whatever he's talking about. We're like, let's go back here. What do you mean you're real big into soccer? And then that started a whole thing because he played Division III football. And so we were trying to get to the bottom of that, and we've had a good time with that. So of course, when he came with that soccer piece, it was, I don't think how much of it made the actual podcast. We're just like laughing and losing it because here he is talking about soccer again. But yeah, we did agree because so 3 of us on that podcast have been athletic directors at some point of our life. And I have sat through some miserable late fall, cold soccer games that go to overtime and will just end in a tie because there's no shootout in high school or in middle school.
Yeah.
At least in middle school, there's no overtime. You're just done. So you kind of have like a finite moment there. But in high school, there's been some painful ones. But yeah, that was a real good one. We really appreciate that and would certainly move things along. I'm not sure how some of the folks over in Europe would feel about that because that going to a soccer game over there is like a religion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got to go to a Manchester United game back during their back in their peak in the 90s.
Nobody cares.
No, I'm saying it's my one thing, and I've never been kissed by so many strange British men in my life. It was the fucking craziest thing I've ever been to. Yeah, it was very odd.
I mean, for sure, I would go to a professional soccer game or a European soccer game or whatever, but that.
Yeah. So Trevor asked if I like any sport and then what's the name of his podcast, because evidently he was late and didn't get the introduction. But it's not that I don't like sports. I don't follow sports. I don't like watching them most. I like watching hockey. There's a few things.
You like watching hockey live though.
Yeah.
You don't watch anything on TV.
No. The best sport live that there is hockey, bar none.
I agree.
I'm a huge football guy, but it's great.
Yeah. No, I like to play. I always like playing sports growing up. So like I like sports in theory, playing and shit. I don't enjoy watching or following at all.
I'm intending to put a basketball goal in the driveway at some point.
I will play.
We will have to film. We'll have to film this.
Oh, so I'm fat. We're both old.
Yeah.
So
it's my birthday coming right after Christmas is really hurt my weight loss.
Yeah.
Because I came home from work and there's a cake and ice cream sitting in the kitchen, so I can't wait
till you're a fat piece of shit again like me. Look, this will be a fad. It'll wear out. And then you're gonna be
this much cake left upstairs between today and tomorrow. I can get that eaten and then I'm
so happy that I hope that your willpower breaks, and I hope that you end up getting fat.
As long as it stays out of the house, great willpower.
I'm gonna start leaving shit here randomly.
You already do that, but
not food.
Well. Okay. You don't bring still.
I leave semen in places for you to hide, to find, but I don't leave food.
Oh, well, usually.
Well, I mean, tomato, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, but usually I know that you've left it there. It's not like you're hiding it from me. I see it happen because I'm so dodging it. So
that's
no. Oh God. So to answer Trevor.
I just answered Trevor.
Did you say the name of the podcast?
We said it earlier. He can go back on the replay.
Well, it's called Talking in the Driveway, Trevor.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And if he wonders if I like sports, let's fucking put gloves on, Trevor. Show you. I'm just going to start threatening random people in the comment section. So one thing I wanted to touch on, because you guys being like educators and whatever, like one thing we don't talk about is our jobs at all for obvious reasons. And you guys, at least people know what you do. We're afraid people found that out, we'd both end up getting fucking fired anyway. But you guys do edit like language, bleep out things, whatever. Is that for that reason or just to keep it more accessible for people in general?
It's more a little of both. When we first sat down and started saying this is what we're going to do, we talked about that. And really, we call it talking the driveway because before I had the pole put in here, when we would hang out, we'd hang out in one of our driveways, and so we get a text going or hey, time for a driveway. We show up, produce up for driveway, drink, and just talk. Basically, what we do in the podcast, maybe a little bit more organized in the pod. But we said we're going to do this. We're like, look, because we're all teachers and makes you a little bit of a public figure. It's in our communities or whatever. We said we're going to have to keep it, clean and everything. And so Captain Caveman's nephew, who's wants to be called Captain Cave, he says, I only want to listen to you guys because it's not really you because you're not swearing and cursing and everything and acting like you usually do.
Right.
We told we didn't like him that much anyway, so we didn't care if he listened. But that's really why we've done that.
Yeah. Well, it's such a weird thing to me how shows are, because any type of larger corporation that expects you to follow a certain code of conduct in and out of work because they look at it as a reflecting on the company, or in a position that you're in a like you said, kind of a public position. It's odd to me that those things, at least nowadays, maybe it's always been this way, but I'm just become more aware of it over the last 10, 15 years of how entangled the two are. And no matter what, if it's out on social media, if it's on something like this, that shit can cost you your fucking job. And that's just, I mean, it's stating the obvious, but it's such a weird thing to me.
Well, it's to the extent that, so my wife, up until the last year or so, was an administrator at a school here. And she said this to me, we started doing this. She's like, just, if you're going to talk about me, don't use my full name. Please don't mention the school that I work at. Let's just try to keep that as separate as possible. So.
Yeah. But it's funny to be like, I can understand having an issue if somebody's going out in a public forum and spouting like just racism and just like the worst things, like throwing out their KKK agenda,
like our solo shows.
Like our solo shows. Yeah. But when somebody just says some shit that might be controversial or just a different opinion, like you can come out now and you can have a stance on COVID and that shit will get you fired.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy to me how sensitive it's gotten.
But it'll also get you taken down off YouTube. All you got to do is try to suggest that someone should do something involving COVID, and immediately that'll be shut down. Yeah. So
I was like, I hear that Vicodin cures COVID, so I just take a lot of fucking Vicodin.
Well,
by the way, I think there's a 90% chance I've had like some straight of COVID over the last week or so.
I mean, could be.
I'm sharing it. I'm bringing it here.
Here's the thing. I sat next to Gabe all day long, who had a positive test the very next day, and so
I've been like, it feels like I've had the flu for like a week and a half now.
Has it?
Yeah. Nice. My wife's like, you probably have it. Maybe I'm still going to Joey's.
Nah, I bet you don't have it.
I don't know.
I don't think you're lucky enough.
No, I'm not that lucky.
You're not lucky enough. Oh God. Anyway, so
because the only reason I would want to get it is so I could give it to you. Like I want you to suffer the way I suffer.
I appreciate that. My wife will appreciate that.
I know. I'm secretly trying to kill Krista so you and I have more time together.
I don't think you are.
No, I don't want any more time.
So I noticed you guys have been picking games each week. How did you guys decide which games? Because you all are picking the same games, right?
Yes. So when we started back in June of 20, I guess it all starts to run together here. But when we get into the NFL season, we're thinking, what can we do? And we were actually here for Labor Day, and we were talking about, okay, we're gonna make these picks. And originally, we all picked one game a week. Yeah. And as far as, okay, each, like I said, who you want, this and that. And then we thought, okay, let's try to break this down, make it a little bit easier. So we picked the Thursday game, and then we pick the Sunday night, Monday night game. And then we have whoever's in last place, it's usually the Flamingo. So we call it the Flamingo game. He picks one. And then we picked what's the best college game of the weekend. And the reason we did that was so that everybody has to go first somewhere along the line, because we go in like a snake order in regards to the pick. So that's how that's made. And then of course, if you win, you get to choose a tattoo that goes on the loser. And we all
like that.
Yeah, we all agreed to that last year, much to the chagrin of our wives. And so the real goal is not to lose. I mean, it's nice if you win, but you just don't want to be in that last place spot.
Yeah. We haven't we've talked about a tattoo punishment for things, but neither one of our wives will sign off on it.
It all depends on what the tattoo is.
But that's the thing.
I know that's the thing.
I mean, we can have a no dick rule, but outside of that, because it's going to end up being one of our pictures, is what it is. It's,
probably yes. Yeah, no, I'm sure it would be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we know a tattoo artist that could do some work for us.
A couple.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Might get Ben's.
Would they
want
to come on the podcast?
I get Ben's wife on.
No, I don't trust you and your tattoo artist coming on the podcast anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
The only rule I was gonna say the only rule we made with the tattoo was that we couldn't, like, I'm a huge Steelers fan. If I were to finish in last place, they couldn't say, "Hey, you got to put a Ravens logo on." We said we're not going to do that to each other. So that was really kind of the rule.
But they're much better friends than we are.
And the loser gets to choose where the tattoo goes. So that was there was a little bit of give that we had to have in the whole thing, and
that's a fair compromise, though, that you getting that to get to pick where it goes on, because if you have friends like us, like, oh, it's going on your fucking face, dude.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, there's got to be some rules to that. But I would, if I were having my face put on you, I'd have it put right in the pelvis area so that every time Amanda goes down there, she got to see me too. That's every time. I'm waving at her with a little bubble that says, like, "Hey, Amanda."
I like it. I'd give you some type of prison tattoo that would immediately get your ass fucking beat if it was shown. Yeah, it would be somewhere in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teardrop.
Yeah, just a single teardrop. Spider web on the elbow. Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah. So we've been picking NFL games this season. We each pick 3 games a week, and it doesn't matter which games you pick, but we pick against the spread. And right now, at the end of week 17, we're tied.
Oh, we're tied now.
We're tied.
That means I tanked this week.
No, well, I mean, you got 1 out of 3.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying.
And I got 2 out of 3. Yeah. So
okay.
And I've got my picks for the week written down, and I've already lost one of them because there was a game today.
Okay.
I already lost one of them.
That's fine.
So
do you mean go and give you my 3? I'm just going to give them to you random.
I don't right now.
Oh, yeah, because you got to write the spread down and whatever shit you do.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, he hates, like, he agreed to it.
I hate doing this
I
so
pitched
much.
the idea to him. He's like, yeah, that'd be fun. And
I did not say, yeah, it would be fun. Now
yes,
you're putting words in my fucking mouth.
No, you did. You did say that.
Okay.
Said, yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh,
you did. You were very dismissive, but that's what you said.
Yeah, I think I meant more of like see what the outcome would be. Would be fun, not the process.
But you got to go through 18 weeks to get to the outcome.
No, you do, but we don't have to do the whole goddamn thing on air where you're reading them and you're writing the shit down, and then that takes so fucking long.
Kind of like your rants and tangents,
or your goddamn stories. Yes,
that's why I don't tell them anymore.
You do tell stories sometimes.
Yeah. Oh,
this is half of the show, man. Is listen to us fucking yell at each other. But I
think people like that.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Oh, yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
No, what I'm saying is like, okay, this is my 3. This is your 3. Nobody cares what the spread is. If they do, they can fucking look it up. I don't even know what the spread is half the time.
Yeah.
You've explained it to me 3 times and it still doesn't click in my brain.
I know. I don't understand how it's so easy to understand.
I'm not saying I don't understand it.
Well, you just said I don't understand
it, but because I haven't tried, I just flush it out the air every time you tell me. Like, it just hasn't clicked in my brain. I don't care enough about it.
Oh,
like,
God.
the spread is such a dumb thing. Like, why is everything just not win or lose? Like, it's A or B, flip of the coin.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying, why? Why is the spread even a thing? Why did it become a thing?
Because it's for gambling.
I understand. No shit.
That's it. That's for gambling. It's so that you have
more options on a win.
Well, it's not. Well, yeah, because you can bet your money line. Go ahead.
I say it's supposed to level the playing field.
Yes, that's it. It makes you, rather than just picking who the favorite is, it makes you go, ooh, but if this other team is actually getting points at the start, it might be better to pick them. Okay. That's why. The bookies got it figured out, man. They're fucking brilliant. Yeah. It's amazing to me how close they get to the spread.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
that's why
I thought it'd be
I was gonna say that's why there's those big buildings out in Las Vegas.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and they're perfectly fine with blowing them up and building another one right there where it was. So, I thought it'd be a good opportunity for him to just shit on his other friends. That
what makes you think that they're those kind of friends?
Because they're guys. God damn it! I just broke my pen. Because they're guys.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay. But I also was wondering, where did the nicknames like Captain Caveman? I know who Captain Caveman is, but how did he get that nickname? And then and I think there's at least a couple more.
Yeah.
What Metal Lightning and
Yeah, so we all have, except for me, for whatever reason, they call me host or whatever. But we all have nicknames. So we all have nicknames. This is the crazy thing. We all have other nicknames that we go by already. Some of us are last names, some different things. But the nicknames kind of started with Caveman Z's one. His last name is Cave, and so he has a lot of Captain Caveman stuff in his office. He actually has a Captain Caveman tattoo. So that was the easy one. Metal Lightning, that goes back to something on the show. He wasn't Metal Lightning till we started on the podcast, because he said when he was in Little League, he was very fast and he had braces, so they called him Metal Lightning. And so I actually think the name of that episode was like the take on if in Roadhouse, when everything's happening and Jeff Healy's up there and he goes, "The name is Dalton." And so that was our whole thing. The name is Metal Lightning. And so that's just stuck there. The Flamingo. So when we first started when we started the pod and we had a website with it, he had on this ugly looking plaid shirt for some unknown reason, and it had a crazy wave with it. So we called him Mr. Plaid. So then he got tired of hearing that and sent us another picture where he's in like a flamingo shirt. And that's when it all started. So it just grew from there. But it's crazy because if you go to his house now, like there are flamingos all over the place. His wife has like embraced it, and she hates us. she never listens. She never listens to the podcast. In fact, calls us some names once in a while, but well earned as they should be. But so that's where his started, and then who else do I have? Oh, the Silent Assassin. So he's the fifth in the line of names in his family. So we've called him Five for forever. And he's a man of few words. And so it just kind of started on the pod of, well, he just, he's just the Silent Assassin, because he'll just, when he pops in and says something, he just kills you. And so it just kind of all started that way, and it's kind of grown. And I'm sure as we continue to do this, same thing when we have different guests come on, they tend to get a nickname very quickly. As we move through it. And that's kind of, I think there's a little bit of that with the whole education piece, even though we talk about who we are in our schools to a little bit of it. For the most part, we kind of have like our own little different personas on the pod.
Yeah. Has anyone you work with, or any student that no one's related to, come to you and mentioned that they listen, or asked about, or even had a complaint at all about it?
No, there's been no complaints. I know that most of the folks. So I actually work in the district office. I'm not in a school any longer, and so I know a couple of the folks in there listen to it. In fact, when we went and did that one, we were all together at that Shellville. Our supervisor of buildings and grounds was saying something to our superintendent, and he comes over and he says, "I think I'm going to have to start listening to this show." I said, "Look, I'm telling you, you don't want to do that." And he just laughed. He said, "Well, now I'm really going to listen to it." I said, "Oh, I know you are." And he's listened to a couple and just shakes his head. He says, I can't follow it. Well, you have to go back to the beginning to truly get a lot of the stuff that goes on. But no complaints or anything like that. That, I think, is one ways you've kept it. I don't know that any of the students have come to the other guys and said anything. I don't think they have. But I know like a lot of our kids, like I have an 18-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and the 11-year-old, every 7 years but the barn door's closed now. That ain't happening. That shit ain't happening again.
So every 7, so get the 7-year itch and like, fuck, if we don't have a kid, we're gonna get divorced.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but
it's been 4 years. It's time to go.
So I know like my 11-year-old listens to it, and he's actually a student in Captain Caveman's building, and so that's pretty unique there. And when I talked about moving to Delaware in 2001, not knowing anybody from Delaware, I didn't know a soul when I moved to Delaware. And over time, a lot of us every one of us are like transplants from somewhere else, and we were teaching together or in the same district at one point, and we all just became friends, and we basically become each other's family down here. So all of our kids call everybody else, uncle or aunt or something like that. So my 6th grade son, first day of school rolls around. He's like, "Hey, Uncle Cave." And he's like, "Would you please tell Evan he can't call me that in school?" I said, "Well, it's not." I said, "What's the difference?" I said, "It's not like he's going, 'Yo, Cave' or something like that." He said, "He's calling you uncle."
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't even know what he calls him now. I think it is Mr. Cave. He tries to do it most times.
That's funny. Now, my little two obviously have no idea that I do a show, and I refuse to let them till at least they're like 18 or 19. But
well, your son knows a little bit because he's called in to talk to someone.
He doesn't know what the name of it is. He doesn't know anything.
Okay.
He just know. Well, they know I have a podcast, but they don't know any details on it.
Oh, okay.
But my oldest, he's 18. His friend, he won't listen to it because he thinks it's dumb, whatever. But his friends found out that I have one, and they call in occasionally. They pop on and whatever.
Well, they call in and try to prank call. Is
Yeah,
really what it is.
like
And they
stupid.
really don't get the concept of a prank call.
No.
So
no, but they hit me up like on Instagram all the time, like, why won't you let me follow you? Because my account is private. I'm just like, because no. like, so I just insult them or whatever. And I always tell him after the show, like, dude, tell your friends they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I'm so happy he's 18 and I don't have to edit myself around him anymore.
And all my kids are, so mine are 25, 21, and 20. And none of them listen. My oldest son used to come in here and actually help with the video and stuff. And
piece of shit.
Yeah, who knows if he's ever going to come back and do it? I don't know. But my youngest son is the middle. He's 21, and he doesn't listen. But he really doesn't listen to podcasts at all, really. But but my daughter listens to some stuff, but she does not listen. Even though she's been on here a handful of times.
Yeah.
But she doesn't listen at all. But she has friends that will listen here and there when they have free time, and have said to her before, like, listen to your dad's podcast. And she's always just like, okay, I don't care what he said. I don't need to know what he said or what they did or anything like that. And what was it? She met somebody new the other day, met somebody through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And the friend was like, wait a minute, Olivia. And she said, yeah. And she goes, your dad has the podcast, right? And she said, yes. And she goes, nice.
That is awesome. That is great.
that is, I like that story. Yeah.
But she tells everybody all the time, she's like, I don't care. She's seeing a new guy. I don't know if he knows or not. But,
he needs to.
Yeah.
I want to talk shit about him really bad on here, and then know that he's going to listen. It makes me so happy.
I mean, she said something. When she first told me about him a week and a half or so ago. Mm-hmm. It was the day before we recorded last, and she texted me about 2 hours before we were going to record the day and said, "Please don't say anything about X, a specific thing about him. Please don't say anything about this on the podcast." Which I texted back. It's like, I wouldn't do that. It's a very private thing about him that I would not have done anyway. But I said,
does he have a small dick? Please tell me he has a small dick.
No.
Okay.
No, for sure he doesn't. I checked that out already.
Okay.
No.
Boyfriend test. Can you satisfy my daughter? I'm gonna have to see your cock.
Boy, if you can't, I've got this shotgun over here. I'm gonna need to see it right now. No. But she said, please don't say anything about that. I said, I wouldn't. She said, thanks. So that was it. And I didn't mention it at all.
Well, people don't realize, like, we're as much dicks as we are. We do have a line that we respect. Well, for people that we respect anyway.
Yeah. If he ever broke that respect.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll say anything.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So, no, anyway. If, Tyler, if you're listening, I don't, contrary to whatever Olivia has told you, I don't hate you already.
I do.
So that's just the way it is. He and I have some similar taste. I found out the other day in things that podcasts that he listens to and things like. I'm like, okay, there's hope for this guy yet.
Okay, so
we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's 20. I was immediately going to say sleeping with your daughter, and I was like, that might be a little much, but that was my roundabout way of getting it out.
I got you.
All right.
Okay, that's fine.
All right,
she's out with him tonight.
I like Cam's just leaning back. He's like, I'm done.
No, we're all good.
So anyway, yeah. So let me ask you, why didn't you go to the football game with your friends tonight? Why did you choose this shit show over that one?
Well, first I would have had to have been invited.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I have no desire to go to Philadelphia unless I'm being paid to do it in some capacity. But it's just I'm a Steelers fan. It's Eagles Dallas. So I mean, my idea of a win there is like, the blimp crashing and taking everybody out, maybe except for my friends. But it's a little chilly there today too. So if it's not my teams, if it's not my Steelers, I'm not going to really brave the elements there and go to the game. So it's so we have a group in our group there's 2 Eagles fans, 1 Cowboy fan, and a Ravens and Steelers fan. And so
wow, how are you? Oh, never mind. You said a Raven and Steelers fan. I was thinking someone that's a fan of both, and I was thinking,
no, you can't do that.
Even remotely possible?
People that believe in inclusivity.
Yeah, well, there's not a single Steelers or Ravens fan that believes in inclusivity when it comes to that. I assure you of that.
You are very correct.
How did you feel about Ben's possibly last game at Heinz Field?
It was a rather emotional night here in the house. I mean, when I say fan, as you can see behind me, that my basement is black and gold, and I kind of live for I would say the 16 games, but now the 17 games they play each year. I have a Steelers logo tatted on my arm, and everything kind of evolves around them. In fact, my daughter's middle name is Still. I mean, it was the only thing I got in the whole thing. That was the naming rights I've got.
Sure you're not from the South?
Yes,
because that's a very Southern thing to do. I mean,
yeah. Well, if she'd have been a boy, I was trying to get Jerome Bettis, but that wasn't gonna fly. So yeah, watching that, we didn't have school on Monday or Tuesday because of the snow, which was great. So I was out there doing some shoveling, and I said, I've got to be in the house at 6:00 because that's when the Monday Night Countdown started on ESPN. I wanted to see everything they had leading up to it, and watching him come out of that tunnel and that game, and he didn't play great. I mean, he should have hung it up a couple years ago, but he doesn't. Really all season. But he's just a wily veteran that gets the job done and just does just enough to win. But watching him at the end of that game to get that, they got the interception. He come out there and do that final kneel down, and for everything that happened, it was just great. In fact, we were getting down, and I said, "Look," the whole family was down, and I said, "This is outside of the Super Bowl. This is probably the most important game we're ever going to watch together. So I need you focused." I said, "I want you playing around over here. We're not going to be, playing off in the corner with the football, whatever. We're going to be focused." And there's my daughter with her little toddler, terrible towel, waving it. And at one point she goes, "Daddy, my arm hurts." And I'm like, "Okay, baby girl, you're good. You've done your duty." But we watched all the post game coverage, and I'm going to miss them. I mean, 18 years. You can add my 3 marriages up, and they don't equal that. So. It's just it's a long time, and just everything that he has meant to that city. And look, he had a rough start with. I mean, he won on the field, but he was just. I think my one sister referred to him as a slime ball off the field, and she was a college student there at the time, and then lived in the city. And there's a lot of different things. Of course, he got in some of the trouble that he got into, alleged trouble, I should say. But I think he did a lot of growing up, and I mean, and I've always said, look. If I was 23 or 24 and someone was handing me $100 million, I already know some of the stuff I did. I can't imagine what I would have done with that kind of money. And I'm not defending him, but like anybody else, he did some growing up over the time. He got married, he got a family. And, I appreciate everything that he's done. He was the perfect quarterback for our town, just a blue collar guy like the city is. And I think he played hurt a lot and just did the job. And, it was a long time between Bradshaw and Ben, so I'm hoping it's not such a long time between Ben and whoever the next franchise quarterback hopefully is.
Who do you think that's going to be?
Dan Marino?
Yeah. The shame of it is they could have had Dan the Man. They could have drafted him, but they didn't.
He would have actually probably had a Super Bowl.
Oh, I think quite a few, at least 2. So, I don't know what direction. People say, "Oh, Rodgers or Wilson." That's really not the way that the Steelers go about stuff. I think they'd be more likely to bring in, like, if David Carr becomes available because Russell Wilson becomes a Vegas Raider or something like that. I think they bring somebody like that, and maybe Jimmy Garoppolo's on the market. They bring him in. So I don't know. I think they're going to try to do some rebuilding through the draft and on the O-line and some linebacker and some different things. And I would be surprised if they did play Mason Rudolph for a year and just see how they do, if they get by and maybe get a better pick coming up.
Do you guys still have Dobbs on the roster, or did he finally realize he's not going to be a NFL quarterback and leave?
So he's he is on and off the roster, like practice squad and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he Ben like loves the guy, and like we always say, he's a true rocket scientist.
Yeah, he's a rocket. Yeah, he's a great guy. I just don't know that he's got NFL potential.
And a lot of people said that if he wanted to be, he'd be a great offensive coordinator. And and even for the longest time when Ben would come over to the sideline, he would go to Dobbs, who was looking at the tablet or the papers or whatever, and would go and really trusted him a lot. So I don't think he's ever going to see the field again. I mean, we have Dwayne Haskins there too, but if he couldn't beat out Rudolph, that doesn't say too much as far as being the backup. I think that was just, hey, here's a guy who was a first rounder, got in trouble in DC. We'll take him and see if we can get anything out of him, and they haven't. So we'll see. A lot of people in Pittsburgh want them to draft Kenny Pickett, who, the quarterback at Pitt, but I think he'll be gone by the time we get there. And I don't necessarily know if that's always the best. That's one of the reasons they didn't go with Marino. Like everybody said, we just talked about Marino. Everybody said if he just stayed in Pittsburgh, they don't think he would have had the career he had just because he needed to leave home.
Sure. I can see that. Yeah. Steven, have anything to add? I didn't think so.
Sorry, Steven. I sorry we got some little sports talk there. I'm sorry.
Okay. Joey's just happy that somebody will talk to him about this shit.
Yeah. Honestly. So you guys had one other rule change that I wanted to mention that I think is insane, but also interesting at the same time. And I don't remember who had this rule, but it was that in professional baseball, starters must pitch for 5 innings. They cannot be taken out after 5 innings. I mean, until 5 innings has passed. That is an insane. You're going to have 6-hour baseball games some days. I mean, we already do occasionally, but
yes,
but most games are going to end up going way too long.
So that was the Flamingos idea, and in fact, he got done. He had it was, and so it was like 5 or 6 things about baseball, and I'm like, and I think I even said it to him. I said, "You've lost your mind." And that rule makes no sense. And I think Metal Lightning made the comment. So somebody's getting shelled, in the top of the first inning. They've got 2 outs and they've already given up 7 runs. You leaving them in? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, come on, man. I've told him he said some crazy ass ideas before, but that ranked right up there.
So I would tweak the rule and say, if you give up 7 runs in 1 inning, then they can take you out. Other than that, you have to pitch 5 innings unless you get injured. Yeah, but if you give up 7 runs in 1 inning, then they can take you out.
Baseball's done some of that, but maybe the reliever rule where you have to face at least 3 batters or get to an end of an inning. So maybe they're going to do something with that because a lot of those teams are starting to use that opener instead of a starter. So we probably might see something come around those lines, but I doubt it's going to be that they stay in 5 innings unless they're injured.
Yeah, they definitely need to put a clock on the pitcher, though, for sure.
Yeah, when they're doing that, I think at minor leagues, like at all levels of minor league baseball, except for the pros. So maybe eventually it makes its way up there after so many years in the minors.
Sure. Interesting. Okay. I will stop sports now.
Oh, no,
you can
continue.
Bring up anything else. No, go ahead.
Totally fine.
Go ahead. You got to earn your money.
Oh, I've completely blanked my mind out at this point.
I know you have. You're busy texting or something over there.
Well, so, Steven, I just thought it was a good chance for you just to drink more. I mean, I was actually looking out for you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that very much. At least somebody here
doesn't need an excuse. He doesn't need an excuse.
I don't have a dependency anymore. That's true.
No, you don't have a dependence anymore.
Not this much. Oh man, Troy throwing up.
Yeah, Steelers are not going to the playoffs. Troy says.
Well, Troy, you're probably right. They got to beat the Ravens, which is always a bloodbath. Right. And then they need the Jags to beat the Colts, which I don't think is happening because the Jags are just a dumpster fire. Although the Colts haven't won down there since 2014. And I did mention on the last podcast, my one sister lived in London for 5 years. And when she was over there, she went to a couple games when the Jags were there. And one of the times brought me back for reasons I don't know, a flag that says Jaguars London, and I had it in the closet. So as soon as the game was over on Monday, I have 2 TVs in my basement here. I put a Jags flag over the TV where the Colts Jags will be playing while I'm watching the Steelers Ravens on the other. So hopefully it brings us some luck. I doubt it, but we're not gonna make any noise in the playoffs anyway. And I mean, it'd be nice to go one last time for Ben, but I'm fine with him after what happened last Monday. I'm fine with him, playing against Baltimore, hopefully beating the Ravens and walking out. And like they say, he's going to kind of disappear. He's going to go sit in a deer blind and be with his kids, and you're not going to hear too much from him anymore.
You don't think you'll see him doing color commentary?
That's racist.
Nah, I don't think that's his thing. I don't think he'll coach or that. He said he's going to stay in Pittsburgh. That's his home now. And like, a couple of the players that used to play with him that were his good friends said, look, when he's gone, he's gone. You're going to see him in 5 years in Canton. And, here or there for maybe some alumni stuff coming back, similar to what Polamalu's done. Polamalu's disappeared except for the Head and Shoulders commercials.
Sure. Yeah. So you think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. I mean, and look, I got some black and gold bias. Don't get me wrong, but
Sure.
2 Super Bowls, got to 3, 1, 2, 5th all time in passing. And when you shake it down with the passing, the touchdowns, and the 2 Super Bowls, it's only him, Brady, and Manning. I don't know how he is in a first ballot. He's won. If it isn't, it's for some of the off-field stuff, and they're not supposed to take that into consideration. But I know some of them do. But he should be a first ballot.
I think I agree with that statement. Yeah, I mean that you shouldn't take that into consideration. I mean, and that's something you could probably speak to. Honestly, is like separating the man from the athlete or whatever. Kind of the way we do with musicians.
Yeah.
You can separate Michael Jackson, the artist, from Michael Jackson, the
finger blaster.
I was going to say amusement park owner, but
that's either or. No, I'm 100% for that. Like, I don't know. I feel like, you're athletic or artistic or whatever the hell you want to say. Achievements are the only thing that matters when you're judging somebody based in that arena.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like the quality of your acting, the quality of your music, the quality of your your sportsmanship. None of those have anything to do with the kind of person you are outside of that. That's just
if we had to judge your personal life, then John Lennon should never win a single award or be heralded at all because he married Yoko Ono.
The fact that he was literally like a wife beater. Like he was a fucking douche.
Yeah.
Lennon was. Yeah.
But most people that
he should have gotten
cancer
instead of Harrison. Well, it doesn't matter. He got fucking killed anyway. But
sure.
they were gonna die either way.
Oh man. So hold
on. Who would you consider to be the Kevin Spacey of professional football?
The Kevin Spacey of
like somebody that was suddenly completely shunned because of something off field. Has there been that equivalent? Because like when all that shit came out with Kevin Spacey, he was fucked. Outstanding actor, and then just destroyed.
Yeah, that's
the obvious answer is OJ.
Maybe, yeah, but
I think so.
But he wasn't playing anymore.
He wasn't playing anymore.
Happened, so. But I would say, but I'll tell you what, do yourself a favor. If you're not following OJ Simpson on Twitter, you need to. You need to, because it's just great. But anyway,
I think you could probably maybe Ray Rice with what happened with him in Baltimore.
Sure. Okay.
Ray Rice.
That's Ray Rice.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I mean, who was it? Was it Adrian Peterson that beat the shit out of his kid, and then a couple years later was back playing again? Yeah. And him not playing great, but playing.
Yeah.
And he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, for sure. There's no way he can't. I mean, even if you said, all right, he beat his kid, anything after that we don't consider anything after that. Everything he did great was before that.
Well, that's what I say. So,
as far as we know,
I don't consider like repercussions or consequences of your action off field being held against you. Like, to me, if you've done some shit like that, get the fuck kicked out, whatever the case may be. But you can't start saying that somebody like that is like, oh, well, they were a shitty football player, right? It doesn't change the fact of the what they brought to the game, no matter how they were. I mean, and if they'd set all-time records, even if they'd done some terrible shit off field, they might have gotten kicked out of the league, lost sponsorships, whatever. But that doesn't change what they brought to the game.
The NFL is notorious for players with very gray pass or incidents or whatever getting.
But you're bringing on young
play.
kids with so much money, and you're putting them in this machine, and that's a whole separate discussion. But
yeah, I agree with that. The NFL just though has a long history of, wife beaters, girlfriend beaters, and whatever that still get to play after a year or so of hiatus. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess my point being though is like, there's consequences to career ruining, but when you're considering, the great players like.
This past year, they've treated players way worse for lying about their vaccination status than they've ever treated anyone that got in trouble for domestic violence or anything. I mean, Antonio Brown was how many weeks was he suspended for a fake vaccination card? 3 weeks suspension for a fake vaccination card. Had he beat his girlfriend,
that is a felony.
Yeah, had he beat his girlfriend,
not a felony.
They would have been like, well, we need to get all the evidence together first and see what happens. But
I'm just saying theoretically, like forgery of a federal document is a felony.
Vaccination card's not a federal document.
That's one of the penalties. That's okay. Bad use of the word federal document. It's not a legal federal document. Yes, but your forgery of, what do they call it? It's like the seal that's on there, all that shit, like official government, fucking whatever. Like it's a felony to forge that shit. I'm not saying right or wrong. Fucking my wife has a fake vaccination card. Whatever.
Yeah, way to call her out.
Oh, she doesn't fucking care. So does my son. That's how we got to New York and go to eat all the restaurants and shit. We faked them fucking cards.
I got you.
I didn't because work and all that shit. But and my chemicals, or my body runs on chemicals. Regardless, but beating the fuck out of your wife is not a felony. So, harsher punishment, bro.
I understand that. It's just, I guess for me, the point is it's interesting what is considered to be a worse look in the public eye.
Oh, you're talking about look, yeah. I'm talking
about
if you're basing your punishment based on the severity of breaking the law. That's what I mean. Or
sure, but I'm also basing it on my opinion on severity of breaking the law.
Okay. Or severity of the crime broken.
But
whatever the fuck I'm.
It's I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I mean, there's a lot of shit has happened over the last season when it comes to COVID. That there's been way more talk about COVID than CTE or domestic violence or anything like that. Is it just me or Steven's voice different?
I don't know how it's different.
I don't either. So we had someone in the comments asking if Antonio Brown is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's not first ballot, and I think their comment was if off the field doesn't count, but some of his stuff was on the field. I mean, let's put it this
last week was on the field.
Yeah. Yes. He ruined such a good thing that he had going in Pittsburgh. I mean,
oh my God, it was insane what he had
quarterback. If he stays there, now look, and Steven, you're not gonna, when you talk about football players, you can say, okay, this is the best. This is the best quarterback of all time. This is the best running back of all time. And there could be some debates. When you talk about the best receiver of all time, it's Jerry Rice. There's nobody who's going to debate it. Yeah, he's the GOAT. If AB stays healthy and keeps putting up the numbers he has, he puts a run at getting more receptions than Jerry Rice, which you think is a number that's can't be touched. And he was an All-Pro, I think at least 3 years, and that's with some high-quality receivers in this now throw the ball over the place NFL. But he gets upset and his feelings hurt because Juju gets the team MVP that year and gets an argument with Ben, and they can't find him for a couple days, and does what he, leaves his team basically there.
Very reminiscent of Rodman.
Yeah. And then he does what he did.
Relations. You back off of Rodman.
Yeah. And then he did what he did this past week. That is on the field, and I think that does hurt him. If you look at his numbers, he's probably going to be close to being a Hall of Famer. He'll get some consideration, but I think there's a backlog of receivers that are getting ahead of him.
Yeah. I think he eventually makes it, but probably not first ballot.
Yeah, but I see what Troy's saying down there. He doesn't have 1,000 catches, and that's a big true. Barometer.
He's had spectacular times of where his play was spectacular, but not the consistency that some of the big name wide receivers have had over the years.
Well, I think though that's one of the things, and I'm gonna say a sports thing.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I think people get caught up in with different players in different generations or whatever that come through is they get lost on this how spectacular some of the plays are. how amazing some of the plays are, and they automatically attribute greatness to that. And they might be a great athlete, but when you start throwing numbers in the matter, like, okay, well, did they do X, Y, and Z? No, they just had a few plays that were absolutely unreal good.
Arguing your point, case in point, Odell Beckham. Amazing play. That one-handed catch that no one had done like that before was amazing. And he's had some great numbers at times. But he's with Cleveland now, right? Cleveland.
No, he's the Rams.
That's right. I forgot. Sometime in this season he left Cleveland with the Rams. But he's done nothing since well, I can't think of anything he's done the last 3 or 4 years, really. That was great numbers or spectacular anyway, because everybody wanted him on their fantasy team for a while, but he didn't lead anybody to any fantasy championships, But Antonio Brown 100% took me to a fantasy championship when he was in Pittsburgh.
But do you think there's any room for considering some of that though? Like, it's going to be harder to perform at a certain level when you're the only player of that caliber on a team, right? Like so there's variables that go into it that your talent necessarily can't overcome. Like if you have you're a great quarterback, but you have a super shit line and you get sacked all the fucking time because everybody gets through, and your numbers are going to drop on that team. But you might be, I mean, there's no way to argue that in theory, but do you think that has a factor in this? Like if this person has this phenomenal fucking record up until they got traded, free agent, whatever, to this other fucking team, and then their shit just tanked because the rest of the team fucking sucked ass.
You can make the argument Archie Manning. You can make the argument for Archie Manning. Phenomenal quarterback, but he played for the fucking New Orleans Aints back in the day and couldn't do shit down there.
Right.
And so I could see that argument, and I'm sure, Cam's way more knowledgeable about football and the history of this than I am, but I definitely think that there's some room to consider that. But I think ultimately you got to look at numbers. I don't. It's the only reason I will reluctantly say Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Peyton Manning was. That's the only thing. You look at numbers and performance in the clutch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Tom Brady any day.
The championships speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Tom Brady guy at all. But what he's been able to do for the longevity that he's been able to do it with the championships is something we're never going to see again.
I don't think so. That's hard to say, because as medicine progresses, we may see people be able to play longer. How old is he now? 44, something like that.
Yeah.
44 years old, won a Super Bowl last year. I was never a big Tom Brady fan. I could always say he is a great quarterback. But when he went to Tampa, I rooted for him last year. Like I wasn't necessarily rooting for Tampa, but when it got down to it and I was like, okay, well, they could actually go and win the Super Bowl, I rooted for them. I wanted to see history get made in a quarterback that age going to a new team and winning the Super Bowl his first year on a new team. I just wanted to see it. My wife can't stand Tom Brady, and so the whole game we're rooting against each other. But I don't know. It still hurts me to say that he's better than Peyton Manning, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm done.
Thank God.
I'm gonna beat myself later for that.
Troy commented a minute ago, don't forget you guys have a guest. I'm like, we don't get stuff. What we always. He's like, he's never watched the show.
Troy, I don't comment on your show and tell you what to do.
Well, I hope Cam gets the feel and everything. He can just jump in at any time.
Yeah.
He can interrupt us. He can call you a fucking cunt. I don't care.
So I noticed, you know what? I'm gonna say that for after the break, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that for after the break. But
he was saying he might have to go because he's got a kiddo he's got to tuck in.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, never mind then.
So are we at that point in time for you, good sir? You said you had till 9.
We're good for a little bit yet. I hear her bouncing around still upstairs.
Okay. So one thing
I just gave you an out, man.
Yeah.
So
if
you hang around now, like I'm not responsible. Just throwing that out there.
All good.
So I noticed Cam looks a hell of a lot like Bill Burr.
No, he doesn't.
Fucking yes, he does.
I was going with Dave Ramsey.
Well, that as well. I think Dave Ramsey's got a little more hair on his head than Cam. But Cam, I'm sure, shaves his head. But I'm telling you, you pull a picture of current picture of Bill Burr, they look fucking quite a bit alike.
You're one
it
of those.
Doesn't matter what I said. If I would have said he looks absolutely nothing like Dave Chappelle, you'd have been like, he absolutely looks like Dave Chappelle.
That is not true.
Oh God.
You look like someone I don't want to have a podcast with.
But I've looked like that for 2.5 years.
I know.
So. Oh God. So, Cam, what do you want to talk about? This, you're the guest. We're winding down on your time. What do you want to talk about now?
Look, guys, I've enjoyed the time just shooting the shit like this. This is what that's what our podcast is about on the driveway. I mean, this is guys getting together and just talking, and that's when we have guests on. It's the same type thing. Just everybody doing their share and everything like that. I really feel that Steven should pick a subject here before I go, since we dominated with sports, and I don't want his feelings to be hurt.
Go ahead.
I am a very sensitive man.
I know he may get it and walk out in a minute.
I've never walked. I walked out drunk because I couldn't sit here unless you want me to throw up on the fucking table.
But how do I know you weren't having a panic attack? There's no way for me to know that.
Such a fucking asshole.
Go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
I have my first panic attack in my whole life, and then I told you that is my first.
Admit.
No, that isn't the first time I've had an actual fucking panic attack, and I made the mistake of telling this cockhead about it, and now every time you're gonna have a panic attack, fuck you, man.
Every time. It's been 2 weeks.
I know. Every time.
Go ahead. He asked you, what do you want to talk about? Yeah.
Where's the bag of shit?
It's the same place it always is.
Well, you move it sometimes. So we have this thing we do, and I still have all the theme music or the awards music loaded up on here.
Yep. That we got copyright.
Which we need to. Did we? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we do this thing every now and then. We call the bag of shit.
Okay.
And what it is, it's just random topics that we or people, when they come on the show, just throw in the bag, like usually single words, phrase, whatever. And then whatever gets pulled out, we just talk about whatever comes to mind. No right, no wrong answers.
Yeah, you don't. It's yeah.
And this is the only one in the bag that's left. So that means this is destiny.
It's probably one that I wrote down.
Yeah, because it's folded very nicely. So it's obviously one of your OCD asses. I regret. It's fucking boats.
Yeah,
just write boats.
Yeah, boats. Random topics, man. That's random topics.
That's not a topic. That's a noun.
I'm sorry. It's not a topic.
It's a plural noun.
Football's a noun. It's also a topic.
I guess so.
No, I know so. Go ahead. Boats.
Boats.
Yeah, boats and hose.
Boats of hose. I spent
boats in hose.
I spent times on boats.
Yeah, you did.
So it was all right.
With hose?
Yeah. Yeah. It's what they used to call, and this is really, really fucking terrible. I'm gonna go and throw a disclaimer out there, but it's something that always stuck in my brain. But like a lot of times, underway, when you had female enlisted military members of a certain type, they are always referred to as morale gear.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
How rough is that? Yeah. Whew. But it almost always was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It blows my mind.
But if they hadn't been called that, do you think that's how it would have went? Is it a self-fulfilling prophecy?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, had that never been brought up and they hadn't been called morale gear, do you think it would have still went that way?
But it's kind of like a chicken or the egg type of thing, right? Like, I don't know if the term came from the event or if the event was named after the, I don't know. I don't know how it went around, but I will say anytime I was on a boat or any type of station for a long period of time, because there's always more, most of the time, there's more males and females in any military installation.
Sure.
Bulk of the time. There's always a few, and it's a very weird phenomenon to me.
Sure.
Anyway, it's okay to mind when you said boats.
I didn't say it.
Well, when I drew boats.
Yeah.
Whatever. Otherwise, I like boats. I miss being in the water.
Cam, when you hear the word boats, what do you think?
Well, it's funny that you brought up when you said boats and hose, because I immediately thought of Step Brothers when they wrecked the yacht, because that is such a great movie, a quick movie, but so good. But that's I'm not a big boat guy. In regard, I've never been on a cruise, nor do I ever intend on going on one. We have the ferry that goes from Lewis over to Cape May, New Jersey, which you tend to go on a little bit. But I just never been much of a never much of a boat guy. I mean, I've been out on them. I like to fish, but I've done a lot more of my fishing from the land. My grandfather, God rest his soul, was had a bass boat, and we wore that thing out. So when you say boats, that comes to mind too. Just thinking about the great times I had fishing with my pap.
Okay.
All right.
I went to boot camp at Cape May. That's where the Coast Guard boot camp was.
Oh, yeah?
I hate Cape May. So deep, mostly just from that experience. And everything was closed. Like so during our leave time, like it was a ghost town because it was after.
After Labor Day, that place is just shuts down.
Yeah. It was October, so there's nothing.
Gotcha.
Anyway, what were you gonna say? What is yours? You got anything? Boats.
I said boats and hose.
That's Jesus Christ.
That's it. That's what I said.
As far as Step Brothers go, though, I don't feel like it maintained the greatness that it should have. Like it doesn't get referenced in some of the greatest comedies.
It's some of the greatest comedies. Yeah, but I don't consider it one of the greatest comedies.
It is underrated. It ranks right up there. We did one of our topics one time was the top 5 Will Ferrell movies, and it ranks right up there. I mean, my favorite's the Talladega Nights, because it's literally the only movie it's ever make me. I laughed so hard I threw up, and that was at the first time I saw the Grace scene. But Step Brothers there should be more that comes out of that movie in the regular vernacular, and I think that's where a little bit of that is, because there are so many great lines in there. And on a few pods we had to go, the Flamingo actually has a sword signed by Randy Jackson.
Nice.
Interesting.
That's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I agree as far as the top Will Ferrell movies goes. I mean, my favorite is still Anchorman, but
I think Tropic Thunder is not Tropic Thunder. The basketball movie.
Oh, Semi-Pro.
They were the Tropics. That's what I'm about.
Sure.
The Semi-Pro, I feel like it doesn't get enough love either.
Yeah, it's great as well.
I think you're right, Stephen. That's right up there with Step Brothers. For some reason, it does not get the same treatment, and I don't know why.
I think it gets his stuff has always been held to Anchorman, and Anchorman is such a great, damn near perfect comedic movie for that type of comedy that it's hard to top that. So I mean, it's just like Adam Sandler's the same way.
See, I feel like Anchorman is overrated.
You feel like it's overrated?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong; it's a great Will Ferrell movie, but I don't think it's any better than Step Brothers.
I think
it's a very different kind of movie.
It is, but I think it's the whole thing where a sequel is rarely as good as the original, and I think part of that is because the original catches you off guard or whatever, that it's hard to top the feeling you have when you watch it. That I think that's why everything gets compared to Step Brothers, because I don't
Anchorman.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Anchorman, because it was just so.
It was like
it's not groundbreaking, but it was the beginning. Yeah, the beginning of like, well, I mean, who was Paul Rudd before that movie? Who was Steve Carell before that movie?
Actors.
Yeah, no shit. But I mean, Dave Koechner, Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, all those guys like played such great. Is any one of those characters in that movie any better than the other? I don't think so.
Yes.
You're wrong, and you're only saying that because of what I said.
I know.
Yeah. See? Back to my Dave Chappelle comment.
No, I'm not.
No, anyway. That's interesting, though. So what do you think the greatest Will Ferrell movie is?
For me, it's Talladega Nights, just because so much of that vernacular has got thrown into the day-to-day. And I mean, like I said, I got the DVD. I don't know why I didn't see it in the theater. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know if I was just so busy that I missed it. But I got the DVD for Christmas one morning, and so we throw it in. And when they got to the Grace scene, I literally, when they got to the end of it, like I laughed so hard I threw up. It was so funny. And like, I don't know how many times I've gone back and watched that. And anytime, if I'm somewhere and somebody says, "Hey, would you give Grace?" You don't know how tempted I am to do it. And I haven't.
So, to add to what you're saying, and confirming that, is right after that movie came out at Christmas with my mom's side of the family, my great aunt, who we have Christmas at her house, and she says grace every year, and she started her grace with "Dear Lord, Baby Jesus" that year. I mean, yeah, and
that's
great. Not known for being like that at all, but she did. She said, everybody bowed their heads, and she says, "Dear Lord, Baby Jesus," and we laughed, and So, yeah, I give Talladega Nights. I put Talladega Nights up there. I mean, it really is good. There's a lot of being from the South. You see so much in that movie and go, oh shit, that's really. I mean, I understand they're parodying it, but goddamn, they're really close to how it really is. I mean, there's some great little things in that movie that a lot of people wouldn't catch either, like the bar scene where what the French driver, I can't even think of his name, but anyway,
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, and he plays whatever that song. I can't remember what song he plays on the jukebox. And somebody, the bartender says something, and he says, "We also have so and so and the Pet Shop Boys on there." and it's little things that people don't pick up on, and I love the little things like that. But yeah, I think that movie stands up. That may be my favorite Will Ferrell movie now that I'm thinking about it now. I've changed.
Yeah.
I flip-flopped now.
Yeah. Did you pull into me? Flip-flopping?
Yeah.
Next second. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's a two-way tie or a two-way tie. It's a tie between Night of the Roxbury and Superstar, that shit movie with Molly Shannon.
You're making shit up now.
Those are both so bad.
But
so bad.
That skit, the Night of the Roxbury skit, is just a classic. The fact that you just can't make a whole movie out of that, like they tried to do with like MacGruber and Coneheads and stuff like that. But the time that Jim Carrey is on guest hosts and does that skit with them is a great 3 minutes of just, is the What Is Love, and that whole show is great because that's when he's the lifeguard at the hot tub and everything. Just a great show. We had a little bit of an obsession in high school and college with Saturday Night Live, but he made his bones on that show. Will Ferrell did, but that's a great skit. I mean, I want you to think about that. If What Is Love comes on and you're somewhere, what does everybody start doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's only been one movie that I can think of that started out as a skit on Saturday Night Live that holds up and was decent, and that's Wayne's World. It's the only decent movie that came from that I can think of that came from a skit.
Have you rewatched Wayne's World recently?
Not recently, no, but it's
almost unwatchable.
No,
it is.
I
it's
think
almost
that's you.
Unwatchable.
I think it's you.
Okay.
I think it's you.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. It's still the only decent movie that I can think of that came out of a Saturday Night Live.
I'm just saying, sit down and watch it sometime.
Okay.
Future, but try to watch it without nostalgia. Just try to watch it like it's the first time watching the movie.
Yeah, that's hard to do, but okay.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying with that, like try to like almost rewatch it like you're watching. Oh my God, it's rough. It's really rough.
That's fine. It probably is, but whatever.
But I think it's because for me though, it's because Mike Myers overall had he wore out his welcome so quick by the time he quit making shit. It brings back every fucking Mike Myers trope throughout the thing, and that's
gotcha.
I dislike Mike Myers at this point in my life. So
who do either of you think is the most talented person to come out of Saturday Night Live ever throughout Saturday Night Live's history? Who's the most talented person to come out of Saturday Night Live?
Bill Murray or Eddie Murphy? Bill Murray or Eddie Murphy? They're still alive.
No, period.
Oh, period. Okay, I was thinking of like living.
No, anybody.
I think Eddie. I agree with you, Steven. Eddie Murphy's up there just because of what he pulled off, in his career. And they all said he's not the greatest person, but Chevy Chase did a lot of good stuff coming out of there too. And now I was probably recency bias, but Ferrell ranks up there. If you're putting a Mount Rushmore together, that you got to have the conversation about him up there too. And same with Bill Murray as well. Steve Martin.
Was Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live as a cast member?
I don't know.
I thought he was early on. Maybe just guested a lot.
I don't think Jim Carrey wasn't a cast member on Saturday Night Live.
In Living Color.
In Living Color.
Was in Living Color, man. Yeah. I can't see who it is that said that, but yeah, Jim Carrey was on In Living Color. I think you're right. Will Ferrell has to go if you're doing the Mount Rushmore, but I would argue that it's not Bill Murray or Eddie Murphy either. I mean, I would say Will Ferrell, or and I'm totally blanking on her name now, but she's doing the Verizon commercials. I cannot think of her name. Oh my God, blonde. She's a current sort of cast member of Saturday Night Live. Why can I not think of her name?
She did Ghostbusters.
She was in Ghostbusters.
She's the Aussie.
Kate.
No.
Kate something.
Yeah. Fire Marshal Bill was Jim Carrey, yes, but yeah, that wasn't Living Color. Well, I don't know why I can't think of her name, but regardless, I think she's one of the most talented people to come out of Saturday Night Live.
Kate McKinnon.
Yeah. That's it.
If she's Australian, I did not know that.
But then you also have Tina Fey.
Tina Fey has to be up there too.
She has to be up there as well. Yep.
Yeah. And then Chris Farley, David Spade, Norm Macdonald. He's number one for me.
He's still. I understand he's your favorite, but that doesn't mean he's the most talented.
Oh, that's still a hard.
I just disagree.
You're putting Kate McKinnon as one of the most talented?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because she's extremely talented.
What, based on?
Anything I've seen her in, it may be like Ghostbusters, shit movie. She was great in it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she's super talented. She's very talented. And Norm Macdonald is as well, but in a lane.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
Regardless.
So why would you have her on the list over like Bill Murray then?
Over Bill Murray, I think she has a wider range.
Really?
I do.
Have you watched much of Bill Murray's dramatic shit as well? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I love Bill Murray. I think he's great. I think, like I said, he's a Mount Rushmore cast member. He's the one that replaced Chevy Chase on there, which I think is a great replacement for Chevy Chase.
Fuck Chevy Chase.
Yeah, but I think Kate McKinnon may be more talented than them.
Interesting.
And I'm also willing to go. It could just be because it's fresher.
Yeah,
but still,
it's a terrible opinion.
It's fine.
I would like, honestly, if you would have given me a day to process this and write out notes and whatever, she would have even come in the top 10.
That's fine.
No, I'm just saying it's such a left field. Like,
yeah,
free.
Yeah, I would expect you to have a wrong opinion. That's fine.
That's fair. Okay, Cam, would you have even considered her for a top 5 coming out of this an SNL?
I don't think so. And I'm not as a watcher as I once was. If I happen to catch it, I catch it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
once again, you always tell me that women aren't as funny as men. I'm really surprised you went that direction.
Yeah, she's the exception.
Okay.
So I'm fine with that. Her and Melissa Villaseñor. I don't think she's as talented, but I think she's. I thought you were about to say
Melissa McCarthy. I was like, you take that back.
No.
She's the fuck.
Who's the guy? I take all of it back. Robert Downey Jr., most talented person to ever come out of Saturday Night
Live. Who is the King of Queens dude? I never can remember.
Kevin James.
Kevin James and Melissa McCartney are basically the same.
McCarthy,
whatever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Oh God. Oh well.
Hi Cam, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you tonight.
We're good. We're good.
All right. I've reached the point where I've talked all the sports that you will allow me to talk tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay for it later, buddy.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. I'm trying not to get us into a conversation that Cam feels like he has to cut short. That's the thing.
Well, because we usually take a break a little bit ago. And so if you do need to go and take care of your kiddo, this is a great time because we usually stop here for a break so I can get some nicotine and all that stuff.
Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for having me on. I wish some of the other guys would be able to make it. And we're going to look at, I was talking to Steven when you were taking care of the dogs, Joey, and we're going to look at some topics as we map out some stuff and get you guys to come into the driveway. We love having the folks on doing a crossover event and helping each other out. So I'll be in touch. And I also said, Steven, I'm going to shoot you a text. You have my number and you're going to shoot me the address there. I'm going to send you some Talking the Driveway stickers. And, awesome. We some other stuff like you guys that we have some merch there too on talkingthedriveway.com. So I hope maybe some folks will head out there. Maybe some folks can take a listen and see if they like the driveway or not.
For sure, man. And they don't sound like shit. So that's a huge, great reason to listen to them. I'm just saying,
I'm actually going to put that on the website. I'm going to put that on the website. They don't sound like shit.
Yeah. Right. You can quote it.
But but also shoot me all your links, man. We'll be sure we throw it in the show notes so everybody knows where to find you guys.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Bye. All right. For everyone else hanging around, give us roughly 10 minutes or so for us to take a quick break, and then we will be right back.
Yep. All right.
I
hit record after that, so I didn't have to edit that shit out later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I edit all those intro videos out because I've created them in
At a
iMovie.
lower volume.
Yes, because they're
loud as fuck. Yeah. And I haven't felt like taking the time to go back through and do that shit.
Well, I mean, I've got them, so I can email them already at a decent volume.
So I want to go ahead and note that we got back or heard back from Evan from Dumbass Dudes.
Yeah.
And he gave us a date to come on their show. So they're redeeming themselves just a little bit.
Yep.
In my eyes.
Nice.
Yep. But
Did you think it wasn't going to happen?
What's that?
Did you think it wasn't going to happen?
I didn't know if it would just kind of get shifted, kind of dropped out the wayside type of deal.
Yeah.
You should share one of our bot comments there. I like it. Or maybe it's not a bot comment. Who knows?
It probably is.
Yeah, I know.
Online strips.
So much cum. But he also signed it off, robbed guest of the year, which
robbed guest of the year. That's fine. That's funny.
Which he, by giving us a date to be on their show, he at least bumped up a notch from guest I liked the least. So that's some progress for Evan.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I like this bourbon pretty well, even though I left my glass out on the fucking
Do you need
patio.
to go get it real quick?
Nah, it's fine.
Do you want the rest of mine?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I'll hit that before I go, but none of the dogs are out there to drink it, so we're good.
That's true. So anyway.
So I'm glad Cam spends time with us. He got 3. Y'all know how you have kids that far apart. Like he mentioned having 3 marriages. I don't know if that was a joke.
I don't think it was a joke.
In the 3 marriage club.
I don't think it was a joke. He didn't sound like a joke.
Yeah. So I wonder if he has like a kid per marriage.
I think he may have 2, or I'm sorry. I think he has 1. His wife has 1, and they have 1 together.
How do you know that?
I gathered that from listening to their show.
Interesting.
But I don't know that for a fact. I may have totally been just hearing that like on my own.
Okay.
But I don't know that.
Regardless, so I was glad he took the time to.
I was as well. Can't wait to be on their show if that happens.
I think it'll happen faster than we got on Dumbass Dudes.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting. I mean, we have done guest spots a lot lately, which is interesting. We've done quite a bit,
which is weird for me.
You're welcome. But
okay.
No. Why is it weird?
What's that?
Why is it weird?
I don't know. I don't feel like we're the kind of guys you invite on your show. That's all I'm saying. But then again, the ones we've had us on have let us not have to edit.
Sure. So let me say this without saying any of those. Dude, it's an article that Trevor just sent me. That would be great to get you all's opinion. What would be?
I don't know.
I don't know what the article is.
Troy should win most interrupting guest. That's what the fuck Troy should win.
Troy tries to take over the show and lead us in the direction he thinks we should go.
Yeah, right.
No. Email us the article.
Jesus
Troy.
with my
email us the article, and then we'll see if it is. But
I'll read it right now. If you'll send it. I'm fine with that.
You got to email it to us.
Got to email it.
Go to the website and get the email.
Yeah.
No. So I was gonna say, without naming what the show is, that way you don't call anyone out.
Mm-hmm.
How often have you felt like we were the funny carrying the show that we're on?
Most of them. I will say though, you've gotten better. Let me compliment you.
Okay.
It's one of the few compliments I'll give your ass.
Okay.
You've gotten better at not feeling obligated to take over the show and run it if you don't like how they're doing the show.
Okay. I don't feel like I've ever ran the show. I may try to, for lack of a better term, steal the show but not run the show.
Okay. Running might have been a strong word.
Okay.
But we had a couple in the earlier days that you felt like it was boring. And so you tried to guide the interviewer, guide the show to an area you thought would be funnier.
But was it a better show because of that?
No, I don't think it was.
Oh, of course you would
but I have the belief of it's their show and they want it to tank, let it tank. And you're like, no, we have to. We're no, because our job is to be their guests.
Yeah.
To be
good and funny and make their show better.
Job. No.
Yes, it is.
It's their job to make their show better. It's our job just to be on their show and go along with whatever the fuck they're wanting to do. That's our job as a guest.
Okay. That's fine.
Our job is to be
agree to disagree.
Our job is to be our best selves for other people.
Well, then that's what I'm doing.
No, you're not. You're trying to do what you think is better for them.
Back to Jerusalem.com. One World Religion headquarters set to open next year. Why do we need to read this, Troy?
I know. I'm pulling up. I think we're still because I think I can pull it up and put it on the screen. with
I think you have to go over here.
Yeah, I do.
To menu. Anyway, so Troy is sharing. Click the little.
No, I know what the fuck I'm doing there.
Okay.
Continue.
I'm just trying to watch you.
I'm getting this shit. We're gonna pull this up. Where's my Chrome tab here? I'm gonna go there.
Yep.
And we're gonna do that.
Okay. One World Religion headquarters. Well, now I can't read it.
Yeah, it should be on there. I'm gonna pull it up here and read it.
One World Religion headquarters set to open in Jerusalem next year. Set to open in 2022. So this year, headquarters will be called the Abrahamic Family House and is being built on an island in the Middle Eastern city of Abu Dhabi. Mm-hmm. The headquarters is being done in collaboration with Pope Francis and Sunni Muslim leader Sheikh, that looked like an L, I guess, Sheikh Amen al-Tayyib, after they both signed a global peace covenant called the Document of Human Fraternity for World Peace.
Okay.
Not sure I trust
you. I don't want to read the whole fucking thing. Let's just go down to the little summary article here.
End time prophecy.
Yeah. Let's see.
The summary of the article. What articles do you read that have summaries of the article in them?
Most articles have some type of summary at the end of it.
Okay.
They do.
All right.
Let's see. This is the point that I feel like he's, right here. So the idea of the One World Religion headquarters is to bring tolerance and understanding. Then why build it in a Muslim country where conversation is illegal? And why do it together with a Muslim cleric who teaches that Muslim apostates should be killed? Isn't that the opposite of tolerance? Where is this fucking from anyway? Back to Jerusalem is the website.
Sure, but what you just read is not a...
I know, it's not a summary. I know.
Anyway.
That's what they're getting at, because this is obviously, let's see, who wrote it? Dr. Eugene is a well-known troublemaker with an active imagination and sinful past. He has a PhD, but not a real doctor. Please do not call for him during medical, blah, blah, blah. I started working back to Jerusalem, 2000.
All right. So this is a guy that likes to push buttons. And
here we go. And a small group of apostolic Christians that only baptize in Jesus' name. He most of the time close countries attempting to goes by claiming the name of Jesus. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, that's not a summary of the article, though.
No. Keep pushing the button, motherfucker.
I'm just saying, you say you're looking for a summary of the article. You've yet to find it.
Oh, there's not one in that.
Yeah, there typically isn't.
I said I was looking for it.
Anyway, so yeah, thanks for that, Troy. I don't know what, I mean, I don't know. End time prophecy coming fulfilled. It's prophecy. It's supposed to happen, right? We should be happy it's happening, right?
Yeah, just like all the other prophecies that have obviously happened over the course of the last,
Sure, look at Nostradamus.
Few millennia.
People don't know that he was like one of the, like, I don't know, the 16th apostle, or disciple, whatever you want to call him, depending on where you fall under.
It is interesting because growing up with a Christian background and seeing that, like, the initial reading of that is like, oh,
it does spark a little bit of that.
But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe my pastor was right.
Maybe the apostle of my church was saying something.
So, before I go into some news, I'm just gonna bring something.
He wants our opinion on it. Do you want?
I mean, my opinion is the same thing. My opinion is the same thing it normally is when I read shit like this. It's like, this is a guy who's trying to make people argue about shit and trying to press buttons. Yes, for sure. He wants someone like you and I to read that article and then comment at the bottom.
I don't think
about
so.
it. Yeah. Well, come on.
No. I feel like with that type of article, because it's specifically catered to a demographic that's reading it to be like, oh man, and then they go out and argue with people. I don't feel like he thinks that people that are disagree are going to be reading that article. That's not a stir up opinion piece.
All right.
So it's the same way Fox News.
I think it's both. I mean,
put shit out there. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think people's reaction to argue with it is a bonus of the intent.
Yeah. But, okay. My daughter.
Yeah.
Says she's moving out.
Fucking good.
Not like I'm fed up with this. I'm moving out.
Right.
Like said she's been looking for a while. And she's moving out.
Again, I say good.
Okay. I don't think it's a good idea right now. Right now, I think a year and a half she should finish school. A year and a half, not throw that extra added stress onto her, but that's fine. We had a discussion about it. I told her that and said, I'm not going to try to stop you, but I will tell you this is my opinion on it.
Right.
And you either take it in consideration or you don't. And and she will or she won't.
Right.
And whatever she comes back to me in 2 days, goes, I thought of what you said. You're actually right. That is a stress I shouldn't take on, or whatever. Or if she says, I talked to this person, I'm supposed to be moving in more. I don't know that I can handle living with them, whatever it is.
Right.
And then, so I made it clear to her. And if you do move out and realize it was a bad idea, then you can come back here and kind of regain your bearings or whatever. But maybe she will, maybe she won't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea right now. I told her that, and that's where we stand on it. But I figured you might have an opinion on that.
And my opinion is, if your kid gets to the point where they're ready to move out, that's a good thing. Like, you've done your job as a parent.
Yeah, if they're actually ready to move out. I think she thinks she's ready.
I don't think it's about it. You're never ready.
I disagree with that. I do think people sometimes are actually ready.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as a young person at that age, you never know what you're getting into living on your own.
I understand that.
And you have to do it at some point.
I just think, my opinion is, I think working a full-time job and going to school, she is already admittedly dealing with a lot of stress as far as that goes.
Right.
That this is not an added stress that has to happen.
How is it an added stress, though?
Because now you have to make sure,
other than having to pay rent,
that's the thing.
Bills.
Because if she goes into this semester and it's like, oh shit, there's way more schoolwork than I thought, I don't have the time to work all the hours I am, because we don't require her to have a job right now.
Right.
She can't just put the job off and do school and focus on school. She has to do the job. So that's an added stress.
Okay.
That doesn't have to happen right now. She had a year and a half of school, just 3 semesters of school left, which is what I said. Is like, you got 3 semesters of school left. I don't understand the want to take on rent right now.
Right.
And, I understand the independence or whatever, which is a discussion we could have if you feel, significantly less dependent. I don't know. She's pretty independent here anyway, but regardless, I mean, it is what it is. I knew eventually she's going to move out of the house. And I said that, and I was like, contrary to what everyone else seems to think, I don't want you to live at home forever.
Right.
But
I do think, though, theoretically, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that you are in less of a, not that either one of you guys want her to, but you are less, it would be less excited about her moving out on her own than Krista would be.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because
she's your daughter. Sure.
Yeah. Now, Krista has concerns and worries about it as well, but different than mine.
Right.
But my thing is, it's an added stress you don't have to have right now.
Right.
And whatever, you basically have a free dog sitter when you have something that's going on or whatever, and you won't have that because you're out of the way and whatever, whatever.
I think it's a good thing. I think, like, learning that is a good thing, because she still has a safety net. She still can move back if she
but I think
you're not kicking her out.
I think for a young person like her, they tend to not, and I'm not, maybe she won't do this, maybe she will, I don't, if this ever came up, I don't know, but they tend to dig their heels in and get worse off because they don't want to rely on that safety net. And sometimes that's a good thing, but sometimes it's not. It's
never a bad thing if you're learning from it.
Sure. Okay.
Because I'm a big believer.
I think there can be negative fallout from some of that sometimes.
There's negative fallout there, but to me, I feel like negative fallout for shit is important for a young person to learn. All.
When it only affects you, fine.
How would it affect you?
It's not that it would affect me. I'm saying when it only, if you have negative fallout and it affects no one else, fine. I don't necessarily consider that bad, but you could have negative fallout that affects other people. You could have negative fallout that affects the person you're rooming with. You could have negative fallout that affects your pet.
But I mean, even then, that's all learning shit. That's all fucking.
It is, but it's still. I mean, you could consider certain way far out there things a learning situation, but it could kill someone else.
True.
And that's not good.
It's good for you if you learn from it. That doesn't mean the situation was good.
No. It's learning from it is good. The situation's not good. The learning from it is good.
And that's what the fuck matters.
Yeah, but that's not all that matters.
Okay.
It's someone else's life involved in something like that. Driving drunk and you kill your friend, family member, whatever, random person. You can't tell me the whole situation is good now because you learned from it.
Right. Well,
no, that's just the silver lining.
But that's not good. Okay. But I look at that differently as deciding to move out or doing something like that before.
I do too. That's why I said crazy out there situation.
Right. Because to me, if you're doing something, and here's what I should say, where one of the places that personally I would draw a line, right, is learning not to break the fucking law. Sure. Right, with consequences. Yeah, it's good if you learn from it, but it's a law and it's a law.
Sure.
So if you broke it, then that you're held accountable for how it affects other people. But it's different than, moving out, whatever. Because
and we're talking about extremes of things. But anyway, that's. I just figured I'd share that. I figured you'd have an opinion on something.
Yeah.
What is that on the shirt below the B hip? It's
if you have to ask, then your streets behind, brother.
You are streets behind. This is Evil B3F shirt.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Evil B3F shirt.
So yeah, but
look up streets behind.
Along those lines, like I am, if you're over 18, I am 100% on board with moving out on your own if you feel like you're ready to do it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I just think there are situations where it's like it's not the smartest thing to do.
Oh no, it's not the smartest thing to do.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm saying it badly.
No, with the situation that she has and how good she's got it, it's a terrible fucking idea. But from an individuality, growing up, learning shit,
and I think that's where she's
a great fucking.
I think that's where she's at on it. Yeah. I think you're gonna have to do that anyway in a year and a half, probably. I mean. So why add the extra stress while you're trying to finish college?
But again, that's you being practically looking into it, not being 18 or 20 and ready to move out of the fucking house.
Sure, and that's why I said to her, this is my opinion on it. Yeah. I'm not going to try to stop you from moving. It's not like I'm not going to go. Well, the fucking furniture in there is not going with you. Hope I'm not going to try to make it hard. I'll help her move and whatever. And I'll come home and drink myself to sleep that night and then be fine with it.
No,
I'll start kicking the dogs and beating people at work and
whatever it takes.
Sure.
Whatever it takes. But yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with any person of age that's wanting to move out on their own and start figuring shit out. So,
all right.
Because again, I guess point being, more people need to do it is my point. Like the fact that you should be good idea, bad idea. The fact that you have a 20-year-old that wants to take that step is a fucking good thing. It's my point.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see it that way. I just don't. Yeah, that's fine. So with a little bit of time we've got left, I wanted to bring up some news articles.
Okay.
We don't have the news music.
No.
But anyway, this first one is the headline is "Woman Makes Boyfriend FaceTime Her During His 12-Hour Shift Due to a Trust Issue."
We already talked about this one.
Did we?
Yeah, that was what show were we on where they read that?
Oh, that's right. We were on the
Man Tools.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they read that one already.
Sorry. Well, we haven't talked with it in front of our people. So then the story. She doesn't distrust him. She just don't be trusting him other bitches that he works with.
Which means she doesn't trust him.
So she, for anyone listening or watching.
Yeah, summarize the article for the people.
She basically, so he works, I think it was Amazon.
Yep.
And so he has a cart that he has to push around and pick the stuff that gets packed and shipped out. And basically he has to set his phone on FaceTime and put it on that cart so that it points at him the whole time that he's working. And not because, like I said, she says she trusts him. She doesn't trust that the other girls there are not hitting on him. And that's how she makes sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's insanity.
It is insanity.
Yeah.
It must be lined with gold. It's the only thing I can think of for him to stick through that. There's got to be some really.
I don't know, man. People get fucking
got that good neck,
beat the fuck down, or just want the way to be in a relationship. Like they think they really love someone, so they will do anything.
I bet he doesn't have a healthy relationship with his mother as well.
Probably not. But those are also the people that have never been divorced.
Probably never been married either.
No, because that's the funny part to me is that she said it's not because she doesn't trust him. It's because she doesn't trust other women. Like, no, nobody trusts an opposite sex around their spouse or significant other. If you do, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But you have to trust the person that you're with. And if you think another girl at his work's going to hit on him, he's going to fuck her, and you don't trust him. That's what it boils down to. You have trust.
Who cares what another woman he works with says to him if he does nothing with that information?
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a bunch of shit saying that she doesn't whatever, but
right.
But yeah,
it's
and my whole thought is too, like, even taking her fucking stupidness out of it, but just taking it and saying, oh, okay, let's talk something that makes sense there, sweetheart. If you have to keep your phone on that son of a bitch to keep him from fucking other women, then you probably should let him go too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Still fucking insanity to me. Like, I couldn't imagine. And okay, if you're out there and you have an overbearing person like that in your life, man or female, fucking kick their asses to the curb. They don't love you.
Sure.
They don't love you.
Interesting.
Or let me rephrase that. They don't respect you.
That I'll give you for sure. The love thing, I think they don't know how to love you, I guess is what I might be more. But anyway, yeah, that's fine. This one is a little more up your alley.
Okay.
2 killer monkeys captured in India after revenge massacre of 250 dogs.
Yes.
2 monkeys have reportedly been captured in India for killing some 250 dogs in a murderous revenge massacre after pooches killed one of their babies.
I love this so much.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
So
this
much.
is you being happy about this article is better than any BuzzFeed article I could have brought to the table to piss you off. The primate perps allegedly slaughtered the dogs by dragging them to the tops of buildings and trees in Lavul village, about 300 miles east of Mumbai, and dropping them to their deaths.
Oh, this is so good.
The 2 monkeys involved in the killing of many puppies have been captured by a Nagpur Forest Department team in Bede.
I can picture this so vividly. These dogs yelping and snarling and growling as these monkeys drag them by their fucking tails and feet upstairs and up trees. And just to be
I heard this. I heard this a little over a week ago, and I didn't have it the last time we recorded, but I had it. And so basically some dogs killed a baby monkey, and these 2 monkeys just went on a revenge killing spree. And like I just read, would drag them to the tops of buildings and houses and then just drop them until they died, and would do it over and over again until they died. And eventually now these monkeys have been captured. Yes, but 250. So imagine that
makes any American serial killer just look like a bitch.
It does. It's insane. I mean, it's just. But they did it. I mean, but
what was the length of time over this?
It doesn't really tell us. Oh, let me see here. We don't have any proof to back up this theory. Is what somebody's saying. We don't have any proof that it's revenge killing. But fuck, come on.
Monkeys don't forget. Everybody knows this.
I'm trying.
Monkeys
I'm
and
just
fucking elephants.
Scanning through, but it doesn't. I don't see anywhere that says how long it took them to do this.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, honestly, though, I would be laughing this hard if 2 monkeys had slaughtered a village of people on a revenge killing spree.
Well, so
people, dogs, doesn't matter.
The original news, the original reporting of this that I heard said the reason they finally just had enough and was like, we've got to go after these monkeys is because they tried to grab a small child. It's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I heard.
That phrase alone, when they finally decided they had to stop the monkeys.
Yeah. Let's see.
Monkeys are the greatest animal on the planet. There's nothing better than a fucking monkey.
Well, they're fucking small. Like chimpanzees are fucking evil.
Yeah.
Fucking
Well, even
evil.
Little like capuchin, however you say it, those motherfuckers, people don't realize how strong goddamn monkeys are. And even like a small like capuchin monkey. Oh, that's
just so running off with the dog.
Oh, it's a little dog too.
It's a little
that's
dog.
Amazing.
I hate little dogs. I need to get some of these monkeys here.
But like even a little capuchin monkey can fucking throw a couch. Like they're strong as fuck, and those little bitches will sit on your shoulder.
It says in Lavul, which has a population of about 5,000 villagers, called the forest department for help dealing with the primates. But when the officials came, they weren't able to catch a single monkey. The villagers decided to take action themselves and tried to wrangle up the beasts. But the simians then turned their sights on the local men, some of whom have been injured after falling from buildings while trying to save the dogs. Nearly all of the pups in the Bede district have been killed, but the monkeys still haven't. Nearly all of the puppies in the Bede district have been killed, but the monkeys still haven't stopped. And are now targeting small children en route to school.
That's so good.
Yeah, I still can't find how long. I mean, this is from mid-December that these articles came out.
Could you imagine, like, like rocking your little kid to sleep and a goddamn monkey jumping in the window, grabbing your fucking baby out of your arms and chucking that motherfucker off a bill? Oh my god, that's insane.
It is.
It's insane.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good, man. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh
You're
my
welcome.
God.
For $84,000 darlings, for $84,000, an artist returned 2 blank canvases titled "Take the Money and Run."
Oh, I've told you that. I think we've talked about that.
You and I haven't talked about it.
No.
I just stumbled across this on Apple News the other
Yeah, it was
day.
actually more than 2 blank canvases. He did a whole exhibit of blank because he'd done this stuff before. The guy got paid, like they said, 84 grand to do this exhibit and only delivered blank shit. And it was called "Take the Money and Run." And they'd ordered him to give the money back. He was like, no, because it's part of the.
So someone said the artist is Jens Hanning. This is in another country. Says the blank canvases make up a new work of art titled "Take the Money and Run."
Yep.
That he calls a commentary on poor wages.
Yep.
Dickhead. One thing it's not, brilliant. He says, is a theft. For sure. It's brilliant, but whatever. You're not trying to really get a point across about poor wages.
I don't know, man.
I don't think so. Fine. Go give that fucking money to poor people then if you really are or think they don't have money. But anyway, in a breach of contract, it's a breach of contract, and a breach of contract is part of the work, he said. Because somebody said it's a breach of contract. The work is that I have taken their money. Yeah. Anyway, it is genius for sure.
See, I truly
just
believe
don't think that's what he's doing.
Maybe.
Or her.
I think that's part of what, to me, though, what it is or part of it is I think some artists are legitimately pretentious enough that he feels like he's truly making an artistic statement with this. And not they're keeping the money because they want to be profitable. I get that. But I feel like that there's a possibility that they truly believe that their art is that meaningful that they're making some type of sense with that. Because I've known enough artists to know that some of them, now they're full of their own shit. At the end of the day, they want money. But I don't truly believe that meaning.
I don't think I shouldn't say I don't think they're trying to make that statement. I don't think they care about how poor people are being treated. Otherwise, why aren't you taking that money now and helping poor people?
But the statement is not necessarily what you feel like you need to follow through with. Like it can be a statement on like it can be like making a political statement, but about your anti-gay policy as a politician than fucking dudes in the bathroom. Right?
I understand that, but that's not apples to apples.
No,
because
but I'm saying in the sense of they still believe their bullshit they're spitting out to the fucking crowd. And or like a pastor that's fucking prostitutes, they know it's wrong. They think it's wrong, but they do it anyway because.
But in so in your
everybody
example,
but them.
In your example, I would say that aside from just making a statement, then you should be doing something. You should be protesting. You should be running for office. You should be doing whatever. Not just saying any asshole can say something and make a statement is what I'm saying.
Well, the reason and I agree.
If you truly think poor people are being mispaid or whatever, why aren't you hiring these poor people with your $84,000 you got for doing nothing?
But that's assuming that people are thinking practically like it. If he truly believes he's making a statement and that is his job in speaking on that issue as an artist, then he's done his job when he takes the money. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I can see him truly believing that was his statement that he's made to draw attention to that. And granted, at the end of the day, everyone wants fucking money. So he's not going to keep the money.
Sure.
For sure. But I mean, I can see him believing that that's the statement that he's making.
And I don't know that I believe that that's really what it is. I think it's a crutch to be able to just return blank canvases and get paid for it.
Maybe.
And I may be wrong. I don't know the person.
I think the more likely, less pretty statement he might be trying to make is how shittily the average artist gets paid for their work at a gallery.
Could be.
I mean, I think I truly would believe the guy feels like he's making a statement, right? And money or principle, not like. And again, I'm not saying I agree with it or that it's not a bunch of horse shit, but I think people believe their own bullshit more than you and I would. And you think very logically and very black and white about a lot of things. And this isn't. I don't think that motivation's at the guy's head as well. I'm just going to keep the money. I really feel like reading that and reading into it and about the dude that it's very much like he believes his own bullshit. It's like,
could be
like I'm against starving children and I'll go to these, I'll go give money to this or I'll make this piece for this, but I'm not going to go give money to starving children. I'm not going to go do this shit. I just believe in the principle of it, not action behind the principle.
Yeah. Those people are assholes.
Okay.
That's just, I don't know.
I would agree that they're assholes, but I'm just saying they can believe their own shit and still not do the thing.
Yeah. At the risk of going a lot of extra time on this, from UPI.com, Michigan University published a list. Evidently, they do this every year of phrases that we are banished phrases or words now.
Banished.
I know. Says them.
Societally.
Should be. I think there is more of a these should be banished. Right. At the top of the list, the phrase "wait what," or "wait what." That's the phrase that should be done away with.
Why?
Hold on. I don't know, but then and also no worries. That should be banished.
Okay.
Wait what topped the list?
By Hakuna Matata.
A decision that officials defended by stating that the two four-letter words should not go together under any circumstances. Other phrases included new normal, you're on mute, asking for a friend, supply chain, at the end of the day, that being said, circle back and deep dive.
Okay.
Avoid error in an exploitation of everyday language, the university wrote. In short, do the opposite of what the public and the media did this year. So I think they're basically trying to say that it's not grammatically correct to say those things, and they should be banished.
Okay. But my thought is immediately, why focus on those things, which might be annoying phrases or tropes from time to time, but not nearly as horrendous as other words they could be focusing on getting rid of.
Sure. Like?
Slaps, thirsty, snack. Things used, because to me it is far worse to use a word in a very fucking stupid way than it is to use something that might be grammatically incorrect.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I do think before doing anything moderately dangerous or thrilling, it should be federal law to mandate people yelling YOLO.
YOLO, man.
YOLO.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I know a guy who has that tattooed on his leg.
YOLO?
YOLO.
Oh, my God.
Love face XYZ, bro. I just got something. Okay. Thanks for being on the show.
That's crazy.
You should call in.
Yeah,
if you're not just
bot, man.
I know it's a bot. But what I'm saying is, in my mind, if it was a person that's their job is to just go spam different shit, it would be awesome to have them call in.
It would be.
That's my point.
Yeah.
But I know it's a bot.
Yeah. Anyway, I've reached the point where I need to go over our NFL picks. So if you would like to give me your 3 picks,
sure,
and then you can go out and smoke while I finish.
Oh, okay, that sounds fucking fantastic. Actually, let me see. You sent me the. Here we go. I got them right here. Let me give you 3. All right, you ready?
One team at a time, like who you're picking at a time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Browns over the Bengals. Cleveland's got -6. Let's go to the next one you gave me. We'll say Texans over the Titans. Tennessee -10.5. And
okay,
I'm gonna go Raiders over the Chargers. Chargers -3.
Chargers -3.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Like I said earlier, we're tied at 26 right now.
Yeah, you told me that.
So, yeah, you go out, smoke. I'll finish this, and then.
Hey, till next time, everybody.
All right, so you got Steven's picks there. Browns over Bengals. Browns -6. Texans. He's picking over the Titans. And then I don't remember who he said about the Raiders and Chargers. I'm going to say that he said Raiders, but I'll double check with him. Anyway, he took Texans over Titans. Titans giving up 10.5. It's not a bad pick. And then Raiders over the Chargers. Chargers giving up 3. I'm taking the Chiefs, which if you're watching this live, really if you're not watching it live, you know that I already missed that pick probably because it was a really close game earlier. Chiefs are giving up 10.5. I'm also taking the Packers over the Lions. Packers are giving up 3. And then opposite of Steven, I took the Titans over the Texans because the Titans are giving up 10.5. I took them because they can get home field advantage if they win this game. And so I think that they'll do well. We're tied at 26-26. Last week, I picked the Cardinals over the Cowboys and won that. Saints over the Panthers got that. And I missed Eagles over Washington. Steven missed Dolphins over Titans and Broncos over Chargers, and he hit Steelers over Browns. So anyway, like I said, we're at 26-26 right now, and this is week 18, the last week, and I'm doing this alone as per usual the last few weeks because Steven is regrets agreeing to do this. So anyway, that's the end of the show for today. We'll be back next week, and we have a moment. I'll tell you the guest. Next week, our guest is I don't know the guy's name, but he has a channel on YouTube called the Tradesman Channel, where they highlight and go over things. People that work with their hands, tradesmen, blacksmiths, bladesmiths, anyway, people like that. He has supported us in the past, and we're going to have him on and talk to him. So next Saturday night, 8 p.m. And then next Sunday, which I think is the 16th, I'll be doing something for the weekend again. I think I'm going to be a regular on that from now on. So check that out on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there with Andre Easy and Big T, and then also Roxanne. So until next week, goodbye. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at B3F Podcast, and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. YouTube has all of our videos. Support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee at B3F Podcast. Send all your questions or comments to admin at B3Fpodcast.com. Find us online at B3Fpodcast.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen. And as always, thanks for listening.